May 12th, part 3. So we're going to finish off with this last video and talk about Janice, the amazing home care nurse, about blood tests, and about what's coming. So let's start with Janice. Anything to report about what Janice told us today?
She was on the phone with you mostly.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. She's in charge of home care, the kind of thing where the nurse comes in, puts your sock, or maybe not the nurse, but some practitioner, some health practitioner comes in and puts your sock on, or makes you breakfast, or sits and talks to you, or will give you a short bath. They have to be in and out of there in 45 minutes. There's certain things they can do, certain things they can't do. So she's in charge of that service. And with Catherine going, I'm going to need that service. So we had to figure out how to get a new person every day to come in who's masked, and how I can sit in a certain place and they can just roll my sock on and put my shoe on. And she was somewhat reticent about being too happy about her own service, because she was saying they'll come anytime between 7 and 10. I can't tell you when. You'll get one out of many people. If you don't want a man, then maybe you'll get nobody. So she was setting people up for all the vagaries that can happen in a public service like this. But hey, I don't care. Bring it on. I need those shoes and socks put on, and any way that it can be done, I'm happy for it.
She was setting the bar low, right? Like
Yes.
that it may not be perfect, and she wants to make sure we know that. And if it's not working for us, then we know we can we can look for a private option, but we're going to try the public system and see how it works. And you got it right. They can come and do a lot of things. They can come and help with bathing and your medication in the morning. So they can do all the medication in the morning, even eye drops. They can do socks. They can help you through the bathroom and just get you ready for the day. And they'll start Friday, maybe this Friday, so we can overlap.
Looking at the big picture, we discovered a few days ago that the public health service will come in and help you almost with 24-hour a day health care if you know how to access it. So it's still cheaper for them to do that than for them to have you in a hospital. Mm-hmm. So I think somebody was kind of alerting us, don't give up, not demand your services, but go out there and activate, become your own activist, speak up for yourself and get those services if you want to stay at home. Did that sound a little kind of preachy?
Oh, that was perfect. Okay. The other thing she said was that she's going to bring over tonight something for us to try. Like it sounds weird to me. I don't know anything about it, but lubrication, something you swallow in your mouth that coats the inside of your mouth with some kind of like hydrating. Anyway, we're going to try it because your mouth is so dry from the medication that sometimes you can't talk. And she said some people think this works really well. So we're going to give that a go, and we'll update people tomorrow if that's worth it or if that option is not, or if it's not for us.
So let's talk about blood work. We also, the last 2 days, have been mobilized like crazy trying to get a blood test for Arta, partly because of the poop group who she has to see tomorrow, but they wanted her to go get a blood test. And then we didn't want her to have to go get a blood test for that and then a blood test for something else. So Catherine was just like, she was on the phone with everyone trying to, and saying to the woman, well, why should we be in your study if you won't help us get the blood work from these other places? So it was interesting watching Catherine in her more like mode that I hadn't seen before. She could have been a lawyer, it turns out, after all. So after all was said and done and many phone calls, they kind of coordinated through Dr. Parimi's office, Dr. Gustafson Vickers' office, through the poop group. So 2 requisitions got faxed in today to the Royal Jubilee Hospital's blood donor clinic, which we did, blood taking clinic, which we didn't really know about. So today, that's where we went. We just walked in, me and Arta wheelchaired her in directly into there, handed in her ID. We had maybe only a 15-minute wait, wouldn't you say, Arta? It was very,
two people ahead of us.
yeah, so very short. And we discovered this is how you can do a non-mask wearing blood taking after so much time trying to work on that. Yes, Arta, you have your hand up.
You didn't wheel me in a wheelchair. You wheeled me in a grocery cart where it was like a child.
It was not a grocery cart, but it did look a little bit like an amusement ride chair. Okay, it looks a bit like, we'll have to, Catherine will update a picture. It's a very low, it's a metal wheelchair. You wouldn't want to stay in it for a long time.
No padding anywhere.
No padding anywhere. You had to rely on your own body for padding.
And there's bumps. Every time there's a sidewalk, there's a bump like that. It doesn't feel very good.
Normally you put a blanket on it before you sit
But
down.
because I said, yes, we need a wheelchair, I think that meant we got triaged up faster than other people than if she had have tried to go in with a cane. Everybody's got a cane. This is Victoria. It's like cane and walker heaven. So saying she needs a wheelchair,
Nothing to us.
yeah, as long as you can survive the wheelchair, you're okay. So that's what we did for the blood. We discovered that will work for us in the future. So the blood work stuff worked really well. And so now tomorrow, Dr. Barkley already had access to the blood work that we did today. We don't have to go for other scans. The people for the other clinic will have access to all the blood. So after all of that kind of worked out, that worked out pretty well.
Bling. Arta is correct. She was sitting in a, whoopsie, in a shopping cart. And it really was uncomfortable. And I would never choose to sit in that shopping cart again to do my blood test.
Unless I wanted to get in fast. In and out.
Exactly. We're going to finish up with what's coming. So, of course, the most important thing that's coming tomorrow afternoon is the poop group. We're going to meet the dietitian and deposit our specimen.
Deposit the deposit.
Deposit the deposit and get it out of the freezer. Phew. And that's the most important thing. Tomorrow morning, we're going to get fitted for more stockings for your legs. And finally, on Friday, we get to meet with Jill, the palliative care nurse practitioner, who's like basically like a resident, like kind of equivalent of a resident doctor, who will help us manage Arta's symptoms. The end.